A to the K.
to the K.
To the K. Hello, one and all, and welcome to another episode of the A to the K Wrestling Show. We're going to do what we always do by throwing it over to Road Dogg for A to the K's little known fact of the week.
Oh, you didn't know?
Beautiful. Now, Anthony, I had a fact all prepared. I had it ready, did my homework. It was all about SummerSlam. But I found something out today about Money in the Bank. And since we're going to be talking about Money in the Bank later on in the show, I figured I just have to share, you know.
Hang on, so am I right in saying that the little known fact of the week that I can see on our notes right now isn't the one you're going to give?
It's not the one. So you can't cheat this time.
Shit.
Because
this is
we know how Anthony rolls. This is what he does. So I'll pose the question, shall I? Anthony, did you know? Probably not. 2 records were set at this year's Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Now, firstly, spoilers for anyone who has not seen the show. Theory is now the youngest ever Money in the Bank winner. So there's fact number 1. Youngest ever to do it, right? But also, this was the first time ever in the history of its lineage that the US title was the only men's title to be defended in a one-on-one match on a pay-per-view. And that spans across WCW, NWA, and WWE, which is kind of mind-blowing. And it also says a lot about WWE and the state that they're in at the moment, let's be fair. But yeah, the only time ever the US title's been the single title to be defended.
That is crazy.
What the hell?
It really shows you.
That's what happens when you unify the titles. That's all I'm saying.
Well, unify them and disappear.
Well, yeah. I mean, the Intercontinental title's gone. 24/7 title hasn't been defended in about 3 months.
No, the Intercontinental title's somewhere. Pretty sure I saw Walter holding it last.
It's in Central Perk, isn't it? Pretty sure it's in Central Perk. So there you go. That's the A to the K little fact of the week, and this is Road Dogg to sing us out of this segment.
Oh, you didn't know?
There he is. So, shall we talk this week in wrestling, Anthony? Should we do it?
Do it. Let's do it.
So firstly, I'm going to come at you with Becky Lynch versus Asuka on Raw. So they had a no-holds-barred match, and as we've come to expect from these two, a great showing. They've proven time and time again that they've got great chemistry, basically. And, they've got a wonderful story with everything that's happened between them. Great adversaries. They've got stuff with the title being relinquished and going after the title together, and all in all, fantastic little rivalry they got going on. And the match itself, physical, kind of a hardcore feel to it. Nothing, it's still PG, don't get me wrong, but, it felt hardcore for WWE. I really liked the spot with Becky Lynch stopping the mist with the umbrella, because that's just fantastic. Let's be honest. It's you need some more creative ways of doing stuff like that instead of people just blatantly just being spat at in their face. So yeah, all in all, good match, and it seems at least that Becky's losing streak might be over, which ultimately is good news.
I mean, I don't know what they were planning with the losing streak, but I'm being a positive Anthony today, so I'm not going to go into that. What I want to say is, I really enjoyed this match. I think it was a nice little reminder of just how good these two are, especially working together, but they're both absolute world class, and just a straight up banger of a match on it.
Who are you, man? Who are you? Positive Anthony?
Positive mental attitude, man.
So you're Pam, that's what you're saying. Oh no, Pama. I'm not good with words. So all in all, fantastic show from these two.
Indeed. So, Carl, right? This one, I'm going to let you say your piece because I know you're going to hate this more than I did, right? And there is a bit of a negative to this because it wasn't. You like the suspense I'm building. No one knows what I'm talking about. No one knows yet.
What are you saying, man?
They will know soon. Now, it basically... for a while now, it seemed like Street Profits were going to get a fairly heavy push. A lot of people suspecting that there may even be a split, and Montez would go on a singles run, which is still, possibly in the pipelines. But then this week on Raw, we get basically where we've been with them for a while now, and we get the sort of the comedy bits, just basically replacing the Viking Raiders with Alpha Academy. Now, the reason I'm saying I'm going to let you say your piece is because, honestly, Carl, I don't mind these. Like,
Come on.
I really like Chad Gable and Otis as a tag team. I love the gimmick. I love the fact that he's not Shorty G. Every time I see him not being Shorty G, I'm filled with joy. It's great, right? And I personally don't mind seeing the goofier side of the Street Profits. I think it is weird because it seems like backing away from the push they were getting in a way with these sort of things, and hopefully that's not the case. But I get why you may have some things to say about this. I was totally fine with it. It's sort of retreading old ground, so I'll give it that. But
look. Don't get me wrong, right? I also am a big fan of Alpha Academy. I don't mind the Street Profits. Don't get me wrong. It's not about bashing that. It's just I remember 2 years ago on this show, it became a weekly thread where I would lambast what would happen between this little weird competition that was going on between the Viking Raiders and the Street Profits. And this just sent me back 2 years because it was the same old shit.
It was surprising we ended up with a hot dog eating contest. I mean, I'm not surprised Otis was confident he could win one.
But, well, of course, WWE, in typical WWE fashion, Otis is a big guy. Let's put him in a hot dog eating contest.
Food. That's like the gimmick he had during his time in the bank run.
Basically, yeah. And don't get me wrong, like the little reveal where it was Tozawa, right? It kind of gets a bit like it gets a little bit of a smirk, but it's not the right kind of smirk, It's kind of like for fuck's sake, WWE, why do you continue to do these type of things? And, I get it, some people will love this kind of segment, but for me, it was just like, it's just filler. It's all, they say fucking, what is it, all killer, no filler. This was all filler, no killer for me. It was just bland. It was the same shit we saw 2 years ago with a different team, and it was just like, well, we've got 3 hours, what can we do to fill it? And that's the big problem with Raw at the minute is, yeah, how do you fill 3 hours,
How do you fill 3 hours, Carl? With hot dogs. That's how you fill.
Apparently so. But also, let's continue with the hot dog theme because, at the hot dog eating contest, we also saw Ezekiel was in attendance and accidentally he ended up swilling Seth Rollins with some ketchup, which, of course, because, again, that's how you set up feuds these days. You got ketchup on me.
So if anyone's going to get upset by that, it'd be Rollins, wouldn't it? I mean, he's constantly got
the king of drip. Got the drip,
exactly.
And now he's dripped in ketchup, so it's not ideal for him. But ultimately, this led to a match. And it was a match with Seth Rollins won. So, I don't know. I think, what does this mean for Ezekiel at the moment? Because he was having this stuff with Kevin Owens, and Kevin Owens, again, missing for a second week in a row. So I'm not too sure what's going on with that, to be fair. I think it was alluded to that he might have COVID. So if that is the case, then hopefully he does recover from that pretty swiftly.
COVID's gone now.
It doesn't exist anymore. It was just 2 years
of with that storyline.
Just a blip.
It was a weird one.
Yeah, weird, very weird
where they just had nobody in the audience for a while. That was fucking weird.
Yeah, it was mad that. But no, so, whatever's up with him, hopefully he's back because we love Kevin Owens. But yeah, it was just, don't really know what it means for Ezekiel. Obviously, Seth Rollins needed to get a win because he's lost forever. And he got the win, but ultimately we ended up with Riddle after the match hitting him with an RKO. So I'm guessing
he's adopted the old RKO, eh?
He has, and it's not a very good one, unfortunately. But I'm guessing this means we're going to get Rollins versus Riddle at Mania. At SummerSlam. Seems to be the way.
It's the name of the tag team, but does he at least call it the RK Bro?
I think he just calls it the RK. Oh shit, probably. So yeah.
Right. So Calm, right. This is probably my most aggrieved one, and purely because I hate shit like this. I hate it so much, right? I don't mind that they want Lashley in theory to go into some sort of possible feud or maybe just a match, but I'm going to call it a feud based on what we're seeing. I don't mind that we're going to go into that. I mean, I think this is a clear sign that they really don't know what they want to do with Theory and the Money in the Bank. Just going to say it now. Right. But what I do mind is when they have a segment with Lashley just being like, no man in any division or any promotion, or there is no man in any division or any promotion who can beat me. Cool. I mean, we've seen him get beaten a lot, actually. So, not sure where he's coming from with that one. But, straight up, like, well, let's head into something with him in Theory. Let's set something up for SummerSlam. But then also, let's just, throw two random things together that were some sort of unrelated, really, and have Theory and Alpha Academy teaming against Lashley and the Profits. Why? Just because both things happened on Raw. So let's, put them together, I guess. I hate this. I hate when they do shit like that. I don't mind multi-man matches, but what was the point? What were we achieving?
No idea. No idea. I don't even think they knew what they were achieving, to be perfectly honest with you. It was just, as you said, it was like an amalgamation of stuff that was happening throughout the night, and they were like, let's just put it all together. Why not?
Got to give credit where credit's due. We've often bashed WWE for the lack of ability for long-term storytelling, unless it's an absolute fucking accident, right? Come at me. I don't care. All the good long-term stories have been just purely accidental because they've remembered something. But the credit where credit's due, Carl. Otis is sick from eating too many hot dogs. That's some long-term storytelling there. They saw it coming. They started that off in the beginning of the night, and they actually saw it through. Fucking made up.
That's the longest story they've ever told.
That is probably
probably
the best storyline I've seen there in a while. But no, joking aside, I hate this sort of like randomly slapping a match together stuff. I get, again, this says to me like where the problem is with feuds these days, when they go, well, we want them to have a match, but we're not going to give that away for free. So
they team them up with people because
you can't have them face each other directly, because that's what you're going to pay for in the premium live event. It's like, for fuck's sake, just.
I want to ask, what did you make of Bobby Lashley's throwaway line of there's nobody in any division or any promotion who can take this belt from, like, that's led to some speculation, right? Which we'll cover in the news, but there's a lot of stuff going on at the minute that we might see WWE working with another promotion.
I don't know. I think that's. I didn't really read that into it. I get whether there's speculation. Now you mention it, I didn't really read that into it. I just thought it was like a grand comment. I get we've seen Mickey turn up on the Royal Rumble, so it's not out of the realms of possibility. Lashley obviously had a good stint in Impact, so are we going to see another sort of connected relationship there?
Yeah.
But similarly, is that something we want?
I mean, it depends who it is, doesn't it? Ultimately, but it also depends whether or not they're going to do it.
He's got a mid-card title, right? No offense to the US title. He's got a mid-card title, so they're not exactly going to go, well, let's have, is it, forgive me because I don't keep up with Impact, is it still Moose? Is it still Moose who's got the top title?
I don't think it is, I can't think who does have it. I don't think it's Moose. I know Josh Alexander's got the other one.
So, well, let's go with either, right? Because I could be wrong on the main title, because I've not kept up with Impact, unfortunately. And no disrespect to Impact, but Carl, how much wrestling did we watch?
Well, from a wrestling standpoint, then, Danny, we watch a lot of wrestling,
But yeah, I can't think of a matchup that would work,
No. I mean,
I just feel like it was just part of being like this big statement of like, I'm Lashley and no one can beat me. Which again, we've seen.
Do you know what? It probably was, but I think also we've obviously had Forbidden Door. We've had Tony Khan coming out in the news this week saying that he'd be open to WWE versus AEW down the line. So maybe they're just feeding on that, trying to stir the pot, get people talking, which they need to do more of. And both.
I can't wait for WWE versus AEW, and then you just have like easily 20 minutes of a heartbroken Cody who just can't decide.
Exactly, he's the main fucking linchpin of all of this.
He's the linchpin of wrestling.
Stuck in the middle with you. It's gonna be Tony and Vince just pulling on his arms, and he's like, "No, my shoulder." So yeah,
it's just ropes him. You're like, oh.
Stuck in a lawsuit with you. Anyway, so yeah. Anywho, moving on.
Okay.
So Right, Anthony, I'm going to get on my soapbox now, so just give me a second. Let me get my soapbox ready.
Soapbox.
Okay. This is unpopular, by the way, so if you don't want to be offended, I would suggest you tune off now. Just let Eddie rest in peace, man. For fuck's sake. This pisses me off more than anything in any fucking promotion anywhere, right? We've spoken about it on this show. Fuck me. Do you remember when Rey Mysterio was somebody? Remember when he wasn't just a fucking shadow of Eddie Guerrero? What the fuck has happened? This pisses me off, man. It's so redundant. It happens so often. I'm sick of it. I'm not even gonna lie. Right, I'm sick of it now. Get your own fucking gimmick. You're Rey Mysterio. You've got 619. You've got West Coast Pop. You've got the fucking mask. Do you, man? Why do you live vicariously through Eddie? You got a fucking title off him, for fuck's sake. Just leave it. It pisses me off. It pisses me off. Can you tell? Can you tell? I'm trying to hold it in. Can you fucking tell? What is this? What is it? Why does he do it every fucking chance he gets? Why can't he let the man rest in peace?
It's exactly as you said it, though. He got his title push on Eddie's legacy, so let's carry on. I agree. I actually, and again, it might not be a popular opinion, but I actually find it cringe whenever he references Eddie because he does it so much, and it's like it's been literally like it's well over a decade. I struggle with time these days because I remember it, so it doesn't feel like long ago, but it probably was. But we're talking well over a decade, right?
Yeah, there's don't get me wrong. There's honoring somebody through their legacy. Maybe taking one of their moves, the Frog Splash or the Three Amigos, whatever, and doing that and incorporating it into your routine. That's cool, right? When you fucking do everything that guy did as your new thing now, that's your gimmick. It's pathetic. Rey Mysterio has no legacy to leave. He's fucked himself over because he is fucking Eddie Light. He seriously is, and it's terrible, right? When it's done well, don't get me wrong, you got Logan Paul, fucking being doing the little Eddie thing before he does the Frog Splash at WrestleMania. That's cool. That's good. That works because he's doing a heel thing. And
we've even had Sasha do the Frog Splash and sort of giving a nod to Eddie as well. There is, like you say, it's not about doing the move, and showing your respect. That's not what it's about. But like you say, we've got to a point now. If you see a Ray or even a Dominic match, there's going to be heavy Eddie references.
Well, that's it, and obviously storyline, all that kind of stuff. But we have the whole fucking is Dominic Eddie's son stipulation as well, and the fact that the pair of them are just it's like fuck off. Honestly, fuck off. It doesn't work. Just be the Mysterios. What are the Mysterios? Maybe we should figure that out instead of just being Eddie Guerrero rip-offs. It pisses me off, and I'm sick of it. So there you go. I'll get off my soapbox. There you go.
Damn. So anyway,
sorry.
I don't know how you would move away from that. No, I mean, I agree. Right, you say it might be considered a hot take card, but I agree. I prefer, just the odd respectful nod would be nice, but it's been years now. But let's talk about the women's champions team up, if you will. Okay. We got so we got Liv getting her moments. I'm curious to know how you feel about that. She did seem to get a real good pop from the audience, and I've actually seen a little bit of criticism on this front. I think it was Bully Ray who gave a bit of shit to her over this because
he said
she was
she's playing a pro wrestler
championship and we won it, and now she's playing at being a pro wrestler. It's like, you know what's a really good look, Bully? Picking on a young girl.
Yeah.
A middle-aged man picking on a young woman who's just probably done the biggest thing she's done in her career so far. Be that guy. That's a good idea.
This week's shit take by Bully Ray is
It's not even this. That's not being a heel or whatever. This isn't you in character. That's just that's just being a dick, surely.
Yeah, I genuinely didn't mind her promo. I think obviously he's saying that the promo was okay and then she dragged it on and stuff. maybe she did drag that bit on, but that doesn't mean that she's playing a pro wrestler. Do you know what I mean? Like, you need to...
She's enjoying the moments, for God's sake.
Exactly. She's come close many a time and has always fallen short. And now that she is the champ, to Bully's point, they haven't sent her out there and said, "Here's 5 minutes unscripted, go and do what you want." They have scripted what she's got to say, but I don't think she fumbled through it at all. I think she was getting a point across of, it's not just about her and her journey, it's about the fans, and she thanks them for being behind her. And all. I thought she nailed it, to be fair. And, there's no bias there. Obviously, I'm a big Liv Morgan fan, but...
Do you know what? Like,
I think
this
it was
is
fine.
going to sound...
It was good promo.
What makes me laugh with this sort of stuff is, and this might be a bit rich coming from me because I have called people out before, but it's interesting that he come from an era where there was plenty of people who were just shit at talking. Even had people in his era who didn't talk at all because it was better that way, right? And the fact that it's almost like, well, I want to throw shade, so I'm going to mention like that she doesn't cut a good promo. It's like, yeah, because that's stopped people from having lengthy wrestling careers before, hasn't it?
I mean, this is the guy whose first gimmick was the stutterer in WWE. He was like, buh, 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 buh. Like, really? But yeah, mate, you tell me about good promos.
He's watched an episode of Raw, and he's calling her on her promo skills. She wasn't even the worst promo that night.
No, God no.
I don't know if this is considered a hot take. I doubt it will be, but you never know. But she's a better talker than Lashley if we're talking about people who've got championships and should be cutting promos.
That dude needs a mouthpiece, man. Seriously.
Exactly. But again, we're not saying don't be a champion. We're saying you need a mouthpiece. Simple as that. So I find it strange that it's like, well, let's come at her for her mic skills. It's like, well, no, that's not. What's the point?
I genuinely thought she was fine. I think she's one of the better women talkers on the show. And that's not saying like, oh, there's a massive differential between the men and the women on the show. I just think that of the women who get afforded the opportunity to speak on the show, some of them,
few and far between.
It's few and far between, so they don't really know what to do. I think for Liv, who is someone who doesn't get to speak often, I think that she was fine. I think it was a solid promo. So I don't know, bully being a bully, perhaps.
But it's one of them, isn't it? You come out like, was anyone expecting it to be a Charlotte or an Alexa Bliss on the mic? No. But she gets to enjoy the moment, doesn't she? Indeed. It is what it is, man. Anyway, so on the back of that, Carl, Natty comes out and is saying she won because of her. Then we get Carmella coming out saying that basically the Blue Brand has to get back to SmackDown. And obviously they start beating down Liv. Bianca makes the save. And then, as we always do, let's have a match.
Standard, yeah.
Yeah. And then, naturally, and rightly so, and I'm not even dissing this one that much. Like, I probably had more issue with the random Street Profits match earlier. We had the champs picking up the win, and again, I actually really like both Bianca and Liv have like a kind of an endearing energy. You can tell they're just proper like ecstatic about the situation they're in and having the belts and representing like the women. I don't know, there's something quite endearing about it also. It's nice to see them get the win. It's nice to see them celebrate. It's awesome.
Well, that's it. It's two very solid baby faces in a time when people don't really know what baby face is anymore. So I think these two are nailing it. At the end of the day, you can't say anything bad about what they're doing. So I think it's going to be weird seeing Liv now go over to SmackDown. She's obviously SmackDown champ. So was this her grand kind of finale for Raw? Is this it now? Is she going to end up on SmackDown for the foreseeable? It seems likely.
I never thought of it like that, but yeah, that's probably what this is, isn't it? It's a bit of a hurrah.
Well, that's it. Obviously, we had Natalya come out and basically get involved, so maybe we're going to get Liv versus Natalya now. Obviously, Carmella was very clear saying get your blue brand butts back to SmackDown. So love alliteration. So you have to praise that.
There was a time that I wouldn't have been keen on a Natalya feud. But I think she's been killing it lately, to be honest. You've not done a great deal, but at the same time, I've not been like, I don't know. There was a time you'd be like, oh, right, okay, they're gonna make her throw a tantrum or something stupid. But I think she's.
Do you remember that shit?
Like,
yeah.
I know.
No, this is.
They actually could be a really good feud if they let it have legs.
Yeah, this is a really good moment for Natalya. I think she's always had a really good game on social media, but never been able to show it in front of the cameras. So if they let her go and do proper heel stuff and come at Liv, and Liv's on board with it and stuff. I think they could do some really good stuff. So,
and let's face it, no one's ever doubted Natalia's ability in the ring, so we know they'll be able to put on a good match together.
Yeah, although it appears, according to the in the nose in the business, that we are going to get Ronda versus Liv at SummerSlam. So I don't know how that's going to happen, since Ronda is very much like hugging her and congratulating her. I don't see Ronda turning heel, so interesting.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
We'll see.
Because they can't try and do face v face for it. That wouldn't work, because people would just be massively pissed off if Ronda won, and realistically she should.
Well, exactly.
Anyway,
so we'll see.
Unless you see a Liv heel turn, would you go for that?
No.
Okay.
Not right now.
Never mind then.
But, speaking of things I wouldn't go for. So, finally, we had the debut of the Maximum Male Models, who were revealed to be Marseille and Mansoor. Also known as Mason Mansoor, whatever the fuck he was called. But yeah, so Max Dupree finally reveals his two main models, repackaged Mason Mansoor. So yeah, bit ridiculous, not gonna lie. Can't really see it going anywhere, but
I mean, let's face it, Max, if you're trying to start up Maximum Male Models and you're trying to find some talent, maybe look a little bit further than catering.
Oh damn. Especially since eating all that cake isn't going to do their model physiques any good, But yeah, holy shit, this man kills, I tell you. Pulls no punches, does Anthony? But still, yeah, it's interesting. I genuinely thought it was going to be Angel Garza and Humberto.
That kind of would have made more sense. That would have,
yeah, they were kind of going down that route of getting the kisses off the fans and stuff like that, and they're
like, you know what? Let's try Mace again.
Yeah, it's it screams like fucking like Z tier stuff, doesn't it? I can't genuinely see it lasting very long. I think they'll come out, they'll get beat up a few times, and then it'll be the end of it, which is
I didn't think I'd feel sorry for Max Dupree, but they've totally fucked him on the main roster, haven't they?
Yeah, it's not good at all. I think it's a shame, because that, as it's as a gimmick and getting some models behind him, stuff like that, could have actually worked. But I just think, and no offense to Mansoor,
he's no Rico.
Mace, but well, I mean, remember Rico? He was cool, man. I loved all that with Billy and Chuck. But yeah, I think unfortunately, it's kind of dead in the water, isn't it?
I think so.
I mean, ideal.
They don't really. This is one of them sort of directionless things. Someone's had the idea, but there's no real direction for this to go in. So it's gonna fizzle out, and then I won't say what I'm gonna say. I was gonna mention but I don't want people getting released. I don't want, I'm not rooting for anyone to lose their jobs or anything. But typically with these things, where what we've seen before with gimmicks not working out, and eventually WWE just loses interest. I sincerely hope that doesn't happen to these guys, but sadly, that's where it could go.
It could, indeed. So let's mosey on over to AEW, shall we?
I started this being positive.
We've got... Oh, yeah, do you remember that, back in the day? How young and naive we were. But yeah, so we've got the benefit, but also the... I suppose a little bit of a hindrance as well, of the fact that we're now recording this on a Thursday, which means Dynamite just happened last night, but we're also talking about the Dynamite the week before.
Night.
But we will...
right now.
It's happening right now for Anthony. Clearly, he's well versed on what we're going to talk about tonight. But
little secret
some of us
Carl,
watch it on our lunch break.
Wrestling playing while I watch this to inspire you.
Oh, okay, that's cool. We'll put that on our IMDb page, Anthony, which we have now, randomly.
Apparently so. Huh?
Little trivia aspect.
Right.
So yeah,
stumbled across that
as we do. That is the perfect fucking thing of us, isn't it? We just stumble happen across shit. We're just oh, did you know we were on this? Oh yeah, maybe we should do some of that.
Cool.
Oh, did you know this happened? Yeah, maybe we should capitalise on it.
We're in the news.
Yeah, that's our life. But yeah, so obviously we've got the pleasure of talking about last week's Dynamite, as well as touching on, but not going too in depth on last night's, because obviously we need some content for next week. So let's kick off by talking about Blood and Guts, shall we? So the Jericho Appreciation Society came out looking absolutely ridiculous, like the world's shittest boy band, dressed in all red.
I thought they were being firemen.
They were the fucking cack shit boys, that's what I'm telling you. But they came out, Firemen too, possibly. So we start off the match with Claudio going up against Sammy Guevara. And obviously nice to see Claudio again, his first proper kind of non-pay-per-view appearance for AEW. Now...
Am I missing something, by the way? Or there was like a bit of a spot when it was just Claudio and Sammy, where Sammy's like bouncing off the ropes a little bit. So he jumps from one ring to the other using the ropes to get away from Claudio. And then he kind of like lands in the ring and like takes a bow like he did something. And I'm like, I couldn't do it. I'm not like throwing shade in that sense. Like I would probably fall over and make a tit of myself. But you know, you're like, you kind of just bounced on ropes. Is that? It's not like you did a flip or anything.
Maybe
am I being
just,
unfair here?
Maybe he's just happy they didn't botch that one. That's all I'm saying. A kid, Sammy, we love you really. But to be fair, the way that the match started, Sammy kind of like fucking ran at Claudio and tried some weird shit that just didn't come off at all. It just ended up looking awful. Like, in fact, the fans booed the first
sounds like you're
moment.
Talking about his sex life as well.
Oh.
Anyway, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe tonight we get the belt involved, baby.
I'm trying to think of some clever puns to make with the words Ty and Conti. We'll come back with that. We'll come back. I'll think about it throughout the show. We'll be in a completely different segment.
Is it pronounced Ty?
I think it's Ty. Yeah.
Is it? Cool. So you could make some jokes about like Sammy likes to wear a tie.
Yeah.
There's something there.
Well, I always knew Sammy was into ties. Racial? No? Too bad?
Maybe.
Too bad? No?
I don't
Tie? Yeah? Okay.
Nah.
Anyway.
Too far? No such thing.
Probably. Don't cancel us, please. So we kick off the show. JAS also have the advantage because if you were paying attention to Forbidden Door, Jericho, his team won the match, which meant that they got the advantage for Blood and Guts, which, you know, who knew that was the case during the clusterfuck that was that match at Forbidden Door. So ultimately they get the extra man. So they get another man in first before the other team, essentially.
Sounds like Sammy's sex life. There's not even like been any rumours or anything. I'm just
fuck it.
That sounds like it could be a joke.
Yeah, let's go for it. But that advantage, Anthony, didn't last very long at all. In fact, well, it did, but it made it even worse because Santana was injured in this match, and he suffered quite a severe knee injury, which was a shame. So as soon as he came in, he had about 2 or 3 offensive moves. He went to do some kind of like rock bottom type thing, and when he lifted the guy up, his knee basically buckled under him, and that was it. He was done. He was taken to the back.
Lifted the guy.
That guy.
You know the guy.
Not sure which guy it was. But yeah, so that's obviously massively unfortunate.
Exactly
I think in a time when obviously there's that many people injured for AEW, it's just another one to the list, which is a massive shame. So I think Proud and Powerful are going to be potentially on the shelves for a while, which is massively a shame for them as a team. But what we did get...
Powerful. Well, like injured and... come back to me.
We'll come back to you. Savage you are, but be more savage if you actually could come up with the thing that you were trying to say. But what we also got was
you.
What we also got was we got Claudio taking on Jake Hager for a brief period, and obviously the fans reacted very well to that. We even got some "We the People" chants going on because obviously WWE harboring back onto that old shtick between the pair of them. But yeah, so that was interesting. That seems to be going ahead now as well. So obviously we've got the benefit of being able to see last night's show, and that is carrying on. So I think Claudio and Jake Hager are having a match next week, so that's going to be interesting. Nice. We also have William Regal on commentary, which I think you will agree, fucking legend, so good on commentary, and genuinely wouldn't mind seeing more of it. I think not to shit on JR by any stretch of the imagination, because that's not what we're trying to do, but it's safe to say he's had a few more botches over the last couple of weeks, and they have moved JR to like the final hour of Dynamite at the moment, and I think they're going to move him onto just Rampage going forwards, potentially. But
right.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing William Regal take up a commentary role, genuinely.
Regal talks, man.
He's fantastic.
Gold.
He's so good. So
Indeed.
wouldn't mind that at all. But then ultimately this match, blood and guts. So we had some stuff climbing up to the top of the top of the cage. Don't get me wrong, we had loads of other stuff that I'm like skimming over. We had broken glass. We had people getting stabbed in the head with a fork. We had thumbtacks. We had everything you could possibly want from any kind of hardcore match. But ultimately, they got to the top of the cage. Eddie Kingston threw Sammy Guevara off the cell. Very reminiscent to Undertaker and Mick Foley back in the day. So very much more crash landy than Mick's, though.
And not a bit of cardboard inside.
Indeed, but still safe, which is the right thing to do. But fantastic bump from Sammy, so fair play to him. And ultimately, the finish, we had Kingston having Jericho in a submission, with Jericho about to tap out, but Claudio managed to get Daddy Magic in a submission of his own, and ultimately Daddy Magic was the one to tap out before Kingston could tap Jericho. So Kingston a little bit upset that he wasn't able to make Jericho tap out, which again creates a bit more animosity between Claudio and Kingston. So for any old school Ring of Honor fans, you know that them two have got some history, and I think we will likely see that explored over the next coming weeks. But all in all, fantastic blood and guts. It was worthy of the full kind of hour that it was given, and fun had by all.
Fun had by all.
Except Sammy.
Carl's reviews. Fun had by some. So, Carl, right? I'm a bit confused about this next one.
It could be my notes, so...
No, I'm just a bit confused what the intent is, right?
Okay.
So, obviously, we've had some shenanigans between the Gun Club and Danhausen for some time now. We've had the Acclaim's involvement. Now,
it's the ass boys. Sorry, that song is still in my head. It's still in my head.
That's fine. It's a banger. It's a banger. You should just lean into it. So, to keep it clear between last and this week, as you say, we've had the fortunate position to be on Thursday night now, for this week anyway. So last week we had the Caster and the Gun Club sort of tired of Danhausen and challenging to find two partners for a 3v3, and he finds FTR. Okay, boss shout.
Pretty good partners.
Indeed. Danhausen's got friends, man. He's got some friends, and they successfully defeat Caster and the Gun. I don't like Caster and the Gun Club, I'll be honest. The Acclaimed and the Gun Club. And Anthony Bowen's obviously shockingly revealed his knee is fine. I assume that's legit as well. Like, he'll be back in the ring soon.
Fully hope so. Otherwise, he's genuinely fucked up his rehab there.
I know, right? Yeah. But he accidentally hits Austin Gunn with his crutch, and shenanigans. Anyway, the bit that I'm not sure where they're going with is after the match, Billy Gunn seems to push the Gun Club away and side with the Acclaimed. So you go, so we're getting some sort of turn going on here, some shit going on here. And then last night, we seem to have Billy Gunn turning on the Acclaimed.
Yes.
So I get that they're dissolving what's going on,
What does it all mean? What does it all mean?
What's the intent?
I don't know. One thing...
That's the bit that I'm a bit unsure about is, like, I don't know what the overall aim is. I mean, he's still going to be their dad ultimately. It's not really the type of team you split up,
Yeah, but you see, Billy Gunn's the daddy for the Acclaimed as well. Right? Two things I'm going to miss, I'll tell you right now, right? If this is the end of the Gun Club and the Acclaimed, right? Firstly, I'm going to miss Scissor Me Daddy Ass, because that is the quote of the year. Don't get me wrong. Absolutely love that. But also, I'm going to miss Anthony. I'm going to miss just everything. Just everything between the Gun Club and the Acclaimed. I'm just going to miss it all. I love everything about it.
I feel like I don't mind moving into like a nice little feud between the Gun Club and the Acclaimed. But this Billy Gunn position just, I don't know, man.
I'll tell you what.
Like Christian Cage, just saying.
I'll tell you what, the Gun Club definitely have solidified themselves as heels in my book anyway, because they cut off a Max Caster rap, and you don't fucking do that, because that's my highlight of the week. I'm telling you, that's what I tune into Dynamite for. It is, and Gun Club cut them off last night, and instantly became my mortal worst enemies. So Yeah,
Okay.
interesting to see where it goes.
I mean, let's be honest. Like, this may be unfair as well. Have they ever really been likable? No offense, Billy.
No, they haven't. But that's been their whole shtick, hasn't it? Let's be honest. I think putting
Well,
them
yeah.
with the Acclaimed kind of got them over a little bit, but even then they were kind of being booed while the Acclaimed were being cheered. So yeah, I just
Do you think you've read the room and sort of
fucking
leaned
love
into
the
it? Then
Acclaimed. That's all I'm saying. So yeah,
the
Anthony,
Acclaimed have arrived.
Anthony,
Yeah.
Susan.
Oh, I can't
There
see
we
my
go.
camera. I can only see you. I'm not gonna.
You poked me in the eye. What the fuck? So yeah. So the next one, Anthony, I'm keen to get your thoughts on because Christian absolutely killing it, right? So obviously we had the promo where after he first turned on Jungle Boy, he's now had another 2 promos to come back at us with, right? Firstly, says he's sorry that Jungle Boy's entire family isn't dead, so that's pretty brutal. And then yesterday, Matt Hardy comes out to be like, why did you go after Jungle Boy? That's not good. And he's like, fucking hell, Matt, you're making your brother seem like the sober one. Like, shit.
Okay,
right?
I'll be
now,
honest with you. When he was saying, like, I actually thought the whole thing about Jungle Boy's entire family, it's a shame they're not all dead or whatever he said. Like, I felt that was a bit weak. I was like, are you just going to come out and mention that like his dad's dead in some form every week? Is that what we're going to do now? And I was a little bit disappointed. Not majorly. It's still Christian at the end of the day. But yeah, that the Matt one was just straight savage.
It was straight savage. Now, it's pissed a lot of people off because, and maybe quite rightly, who knows, maybe we're biased, maybe we're bitter, I don't really know, keen to get your thoughts. But a lot of people were kind of like, WWE are taking the piss out of Jeff Hardy's abuse issues by having that storyline with Sheamus where, he's drunk and all that kind of stuff. And I think we may have even commented in the past going, yeah, it's probably not the most tasteful thing to do. But now fast forward to today, and it's like, well, Isha said that about Jeff Hardy, who's currently undergoing alcohol treatment. Mm. So, is that the most tasteful thing to do? And it's like, probably not. But I thought it was funny.
We're giving him a pass.
So.
No, I think I don't know. There are ways of doing things, and it's not like it is like it's a real situation. It's a shit situation, but at the same time, like WWE did whole storylines around Jeff's problems, and I think that's kind of the difference.
Yeah,
this to me was similar to like when because WWE have done stuff like this before where they've said a throwaway line that you're like, fuck, that was a bit much, like the whole Charlotte Flair stuff when they referenced her brother, and you go, shit, that was a bit savage, right? But it's not like, I know some people got upset with it, but it, like, for the most, you were like, okay, it was a throwaway comment, you know what I mean? And I think there's a difference. Like, the stuff they've done with Jeff in the past, I think has been distasteful because they've gone, like, a full storyline with it.
Yeah.
Even when they did it with Sheamus, it was a full storyline.
Well, that's it. Like, AEW haven't turned it into a storyline of its own. They've basically made a comment on a very well-documented and well-known situation. They've not then turned it into some kind of like, oh, now Jeff Hardy needs to try and handle the drink in front. Like,
if we had 3 weeks of Christian trying to push Matt off the wagon for some reason, like, then you'd be like, okay, that's stupid.
Yeah.
But it's not like they're going to go into that. It was a throwaway comment to get heat, and that's that's something WWE have done before, and we've given WWE a pass on it before because you go, well, okay. It's when you go, okay, you mentioned that last week. Okay, you've mentioned it 3 times tonight. Like, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
but so I suppose,
and it's Christian. So.
Well, yeah, but we've got that aspect of it. But we've also got, Anthony, which we're keen to get your thoughts on, is we've now got a evil Luchasaurus. So Luchasaurus is now aligned with Christian. He's now sporting a black mask, a black tongue, and all around black soul by the looks of it. So obviously the previous week he came out and decimated Serpentico. So Christian was like, I did say I had a match, but it wasn't for me. And Luchasaurus basically killed him. And then this week he comes out and decimates Matt Hardy. So what are your thoughts on the new Luchasaurus?
I like the concept of Luchasaurus turning heel. But, he's much older than Christian. You wouldn't think he'd be so easily influenced.
Hey.
But, no, I quite like the idea. I think Luchasaurus, I don't want to say like, oh, it was going stale as a gimmick, but like Luchasaurus is kind of just there at the moment. So I think turning him heel and seeing what he does as a monster heel, because he has the potential to be one. Yeah, let's see where that goes.
Indeed.
How do you feel about it, Carl? I know you're a big fan of Luchasaurus. I know you love the guy.
Do you know what? I think it's somewhat refreshing, to be fair. It's nice to see him in a different role where he's not just like the lovable babyface. I think it'd be good to see, because obviously in the AEW world, he's quite a big. I mean, obviously we met him anyway, but he was quite a big guy. But like in the AEW world, he's like a fucking monster compared to a lot of the roster. So they need to really
wrestling, as they call it.
They really need to lean into that fact and just let him, be an absolute monster and decimate people, which he's not been able to really do as a face. So yeah, I'm interested to see. I'm interested to see where it goes with Christian, and ultimately when Jungle Boy comes back, where it goes from there. So yeah, all in all,
Jungle Boy's not coming back.
Well,
Jack Perry might.
Gentleman Jack Perry comes back.
Oh, you can't do the gentleman thing. Overdone. So, Carl, the next one, and I'm curious to know your thoughts on the Royal Rampage.
But I mean, to be fair, I'm curious to know your thoughts. You fucking love the Rumble. So what did you think of this? 2 rings.
You know what?
Royal Rumble concept.
I'll be honest. I was a little bit apprehensive at the start, but I love that they tried something, and I think this has the potential to have some legs on it. I really enjoyed it overall, and let's face it, like they've used it right. They've had this absolutely fun 20-man. I think 20-man. It was 20-man. Over the top rope elimination, but then when you get down to the final 2, how impressive was Brody King?
Do you know what? Genuinely, I thought they were going to go like the Darby Allin fucking victory route, where he gets decimated and pulls off the Rey Mysterio type win, where he fucking. I feel like I'm very anti Rey Mysterio on today's show, but I feel like they're going because
no, they didn't. They
hate that as well.
Brody King just ragdolling Darby, making him look like he was just. I've never seen Darby look so small as Brody King's just dangling.
It's the right thing to do, though, because legitimately Brody King could kill him. He could squash him like a bug.
I believe that now. Like that sticks in your mind, that iconic sort of moment of him just sort of holding him there over the ring apron. You can just drop him at any moment, and he's actually just being vindictive. It was fucking brilliant.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was, and it was also a surprise. I never would have, if you would have said, here's £1,000 to put on beforehand, who would you pick? Wouldn't in a fucking million years pick Brody King. So
am I the only one who's really sold on Brody King at this?
Yeah, I mean, well, to be fair, it was a fantastic choice.
Has he just turned face? I kid.
So
I'm trying to lean into these vicious rumours that you started that I don't like Darby.
The vicious facts, yes.
But no, I thoroughly enjoyed the whole format, and I actually am really intrigued where they're going with Brody King. This seems like a really solid push right here.
Indeed. And obviously, they did end up having the match as well last night, so don't get a chance to watch that yet. But
apologies, I have not.
Yeah. Well, spoilers ahead, but ultimately, and probably unsurprisingly, Moxley did manage to retain the belt, which I don't think anyone thought it was going to be lost so soon anyway. I think they probably will build up to CM Punk versus Jon Moxley, which is a match a lot of people will want to see, and it's a match I don't think we've really got to see much of before, if at all. So, yeah, ultimately, fantastic match, and who knows what's next for Moxley if it isn't Punk. Indeed.
Yeah.
But the final one, Anthony, which I'm super stoked to report, Anthony, we got a new TNT champion, boy, because...
Yeah, damn right.
This is war. Wardlow is the champ, and fucking love it.
Yeah, sorry, Scorpio, man.
Yeah, fuck Scorpio. Right, Wardlow is the right choice. I think fair play to Scorpio, 2-time champion, and a very deserving champion nonetheless. But the whole stuff with him and Sammy was very overdrawn. Very bored of it, and then he's just kind of held the belt this whole time. So now it feels refreshing, at least, that it's on Wardlow. And genuinely, I have no fucking idea where they're going to go from here. So the match itself, don't get me wrong, American Top Team came down with Scorpio, and the match was fine, but ultimately Wardlow, too many power bombs, too much hurt, ends up winning the belt. And Yeah, I have no idea where they're going to go from this, but that is interesting to me because ultimately Wardlow is on somewhat of a tear. I can't see him losing anytime soon. So what do? Who goes up against him? Who's the heel that goes up against Wardlow? Where you're like, ooh, I want to see this, because you don't want it to be someone like Miro, because you want him to fucking win the belt at the same time. So who goes up? Who's a formidable threat to Wardlow, and where's it going to go from here? I have no idea, but I suppose that's exciting.
Exciting times.
Indeed.
So
yeah, that was This Week in Wrestling, Anthony. We did it.
Yeah,
we made it through. Took us 50 minutes, but we did it. And to be fair...
honestly, it was probably a solid 30, and then we had, your rant about Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, sorry about that. For our Patreon subscribers, there's I kid. We don't have a Patreon. An extra 1 hour special on...
But for our OnlyFans subscribers...
Oh, yeah. You can see me in Rey Mysterio's mask. Just punching myself in the face. It's fun for all.
Why are so many people buying this?
How many people have just listened to that and gone, that's my fetish? But anyway, so yeah, that was This Week in Wrestling. Thank you for joining us for all the shenanigans that took place. And here is the one and only Griff Garrison, who we interviewed again. He came back to the show this week, so if you're not listening to it already, go and check it out. And you'll hear Griff on every single segment this week, because it's Griff Week, because we just interviewed him again, and he's an awesome guy, and go and check that interview out if you haven't already. But that's This Week in Wrestling, and this is Griff Garrison.
This is Griff Garrison, and you're listening to A to the K.
A to the K. A to the K.
To the K.